ready to dive into a world it's unsettling. Eerily familiar, too. We're opening Aldous Huxley's Brave New World today. The book's been giving readers chills since 1932.
Yeah, what's fascinating about Brave New World is how Huxley's imagination, collided with reality, He predicted genetic engineering, mood-altering drugs, and this was decades before they were actually a thing.
Like he had a crystal ball or something.
Yeah.
Right. He saw those advancements could create a society, one obsessed with comfort and happiness, but also one that's lost something essential, something about what makes us human, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he just drops us right into this future world with the hatchery and conditioning center. Imagine. Babies aren't born, they're grown in labs.
Not just grown, sorted into social castes, alphas, betas, gammas. It's wild. It's like a hierarchy built into your DNA. Makes you think about the consequences. What if genetic engineering was taken to that extreme?
Yeah, and he describes this vivid scene. They're putting fertilized eggs into bottles, hundreds of them, all for specific roles. He calls it Bokanovskification. It's this process of creating identical humans.
Mass production, but with human life. All for efficiency and stability.
Whoa.
And here's where it gets chilling. Think about Bokanovskification. It's not just making lots of people. It's about eliminating individuality. What happens to a society where everyone's the same?
Right. It's like they traded diversity for this idea of social harmony, but at what cost? And it doesn't stop at creating these people. They condition them from birth to fit their roles. Huxley describes this almost horrific scene, infants and electric shocks.
Yeah, they're conditioned to associate things with pain. Things like nature and books. While they're told consumer goods and entertainment are good, it's like mind control before they can even speak.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
But thought-provoking. Makes you wonder how much of our own desires and preferences are shaped by outside forces, even today.
Totally. And then there's Soma, this government drug, basically instant happiness in a pill, stressed. Soma, sad. Soma.
Right. There are all those jingles about Soma in the book, like a gram is better than a damn. It's like subliminal advertising, for this chemical escape. What's your take on Soma? It's clearly more than just a drug, right?
Absolutely. It's the ultimate tool for control in Brave New World. It keeps people docile, content in their roles, and unwilling to cause any trouble because it's so pleasurable and easy to get. There's just no incentive to question anything or to look for other ways to be happy.
It's like they built this perfectly balanced system, but also fragile. Any little deviation and it all falls apart. And that's where Bernard Marx comes in, an alpha plus, who doesn't fit in. He's described as physically different, right?
Yeah. Bernard is, he's got this thing about being shorter than the other alphas. It makes him feel like an outsider, and that difference, I was like, physical, right, but it turns into this mental and emotional difference, too. He starts questioning everything. Is happiness really the ultimate goal, even if it's, fake?
So he's not like just another cog in the machine. He's actually thinking for himself.
Exactly, and him being unhappy, it leads him to some, interesting places. He gets curious about the Savage Reservation, this place where the world state has no power. People live, it's more natural, but definitely more difficult.
That's where he meets Lenina, right?
Yeah.
The beta.
Yeah.
But she's a product of this, conditioned society.
Yeah, Lenina. Beautiful, popular, and she just gets the world state. She's like the poster child for conditioned happiness. Soma Holiday, she's there, casual sex, no problem. But she's missing something, real depth.
Yeah.
She doesn't get human emotion beyond what they've conditioned her to feel.
So what happens with them on this trip to the Savage Reservation? Two people from different worlds. Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It kind of is, and that's what Huxley's getting at, Bernard, he's drawn to her. I mean, she's beautiful, but he can't stand how shallow she is and how she can't see past the easy pleasures of their world, Lenina, she's interested in how different he is, but she just can't get why he wants more than the instant gratification that she craves.
And then there's John, the Savage. They meet him on the reservation. He's like a test for both of them.
Totally. John, he grew up outside the world state, but he knows Shakespeare. He's all about different values. He's felt it all. Love, loss, passion, despair, all the stuff the world state is trying to erase.
How does he react to the world state? It's got to be a shock.
He's repulsed, but also drawn to it. It's weird.
How so?
Well, at first he's horrified. The casual sex, the Soma, no real connections. But then there's Lenina. He's fascinated by her. He sees her as beautiful and innocent, like those Shakespeare heroines. He wants her. But he's struggling. How can he make this ideal love fit with the real world?
He's going to get his heart broken, isn't he?
Yeah. It's sad, actually. He's stuck between two worlds. He doesn't fit in either. John rejects the world state. but he's never learned how to deal with relationships. All he knows is from books.
And his mom, Linda, another tragic figure, all mixed up in this. She was conditioned in the world state,
Right.
but ended up exiled to the reservation.
Right. And when they bring her back with Bernard and John, she's totally overwhelmed. She falls right back into her conditioning once that's Soma. Like, she's not even a person anymore.
A total regression. Can't cope with the emotions of her past or this crazy new world. And John sees all of this happening.
He does. His mom, hooked on Soma. Like a warning, you know. This is what happens when you're only taught instant gratification. Then there's Lenina, all that casual sex and emotional distance, he hates it. And finally, Mustafa Mond, the world controller. He's like the embodiment of everything John despises.
That showdown with Mond is intense. Two big thinkers going at it.
Totally. Mond, he's all about logic and stability, that seductive idea of no pain, no suffering. John's the opposite, passionate, all about the individual. He thinks real happiness, it takes more than just drugs.
It's like head versus heart.
Right.
Mond saying stability and happiness are the most important, even if it means giving up some individuality and freedom. And John, well, he's just not having it. He says real life, even with all the bad stuff, is better. Better than that sterile, fake existence in the world state.
It's brilliant what Huxley does there. He doesn't pick sides, you know. He lays out both arguments, really makes you think. Could you choose a world with guaranteed happiness, but no real freedom? Or a world with pain, uncertainty, but real connection? It sticks with you, that question.
It's like the ultimate ethical dilemma, and Huxley doesn't give us the easy answers. He makes us look at what we value, how we chase happiness. Are we creating our own version of this brave new world?
Exactly. And it goes beyond just happiness versus freedom. What do we lose when everything has to be stable and controlled? Think about them. Their art's shallow. Relationships are meaningless. Nobody thinks critically. They're content, sure. But are they really living?
It's like they're emotionally and intellectually stunted. Even their language is dumbed down.
Exactly. The words for strong emotions, for challenging ideas, gone. Love, God, nature, it's all meaningless to them. Language, it's a powerful tool for control.
And John's stuck there, surrounded by people who can't understand him at all. His pain, his longing. No wonder he feels so lost and alone.
John becomes this symbol of resistance, you know? He shows us that human spirit, that need for something more, something beyond the easy and comfortable. But it's tragic, too. He doesn't fit in anywhere. Not in the world state, not on the reservation either.
So in the end, he escapes it all. On his own terms. Sad ending. But it shows the power of the human spirit.
Right.
That search for truth, no matter the odds.
It reminds us that real happiness, it can't be forced. It comes from within. From dealing with life's messiness, finding real connections, feeling everything good and bad.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Brave New World, what are the big takeaways?
Stay vigilant, question everything, don't take freedom for granted. Huxley's vision, yeah, it's extreme, but it's a warning. Comfort and control, they're seductive. Don't sacrifice your humanity for some fake happiness.
Progress without purpose can be dangerous. Real happiness. It's not about running away from life's problems. It's about facing them.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep searching for those ideas that really matter.